Hey YouTube, Untamed here. So as expected, I did not get a whole lot of love when I posted my unveiling video of my 2024 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392 Final Edition. It's kind of a mouthful. I wasn't expecting a whole lot of love because the vast majority of my subscribers here on YouTube, what are you? I mean, generally speaking, you're a Toyota enthusiast, kind of like I have been for the longest time, but I made a pretty controversial decision and got into a Jeep Wrangler of all things. I understand Jeep does not have the best reputation. I get it, guys. But when you get behind the wheel of a 392 and you experience this 6.4 liter Hemi V8, things change a little bit, and it really is a thrilling ride. So in today's video, if you care to hear it, maybe I'll lose another 100 subscribers on this video, but that's okay. I'm gonna give you my top 5 likes of my new Jeep Wrangler 392, so stick with me. I'll start with perhaps the hardest like to describe, and that is the fact that this, to the untrained eye, is just an ordinary Jeep Wrangler, right? And the best thing I can compare it to would be a Toyota Land Cruiser. When most people see, 9 out of 10 people, when they see a Toyota Land Cruiser, the ones I like anyway, a 200 series driving down the road, they're largely unimpressed. They're like, okay, cool, it's a glorified Toyota Highlander, right? They don't really think and know too much about it, and they don't think it's special by any means, unless you know about the Land Cruiser. If you know, you know, right? If you've driven a Land Cruiser, you know how special it feels. It feels like you're driving a bank vault at the end of the day. But it takes driving one and experiencing it to really understand the value in that Land Cruiser, right? This here, I have a very similar feeling about it, right? Because again, when people look at this, it's just, okay, another Wrangler driving around the road, and there's a million of them everywhere. And I kind of like that it's pretty unassuming. Unless you know what you're looking for like the gold trim bits here, you can just tell it's a 392. Only then will you realize how special it is. And of course, when you hear that exhaust note, you get a pretty good idea too. But I love how unassuming the Wrangler is here at large. And my next like would be the fact that it is made in America by Americans, right? So Americans working out of that Toledo plant in Ohio, they really take pride in building this Wrangler here, right? All Wranglers that are built for the US market are built out of Toledo, Ohio. And I love the fact that fellow Americans are building this, and there's a whole lot of pride behind that. Keep in mind, my list here is in no particular order, but number 3 would be the engine, right? So I absolutely love how thrilling this Wrangler 392 is to drive it, and this is why I feel it's easy to scoff at the price tag, right? At $100,000 plus Jeep Wrangler is insane. I get it, guys. Trust me, I do. You guys know I paid $91 for it, and I got $9,000 more than what my Sequoia is currently worth, right? So I got a good deal, and I felt better about the numbers, but I understand 100 grand's a lot. But when you get behind the wheel of this for the first time, and you take it for a spin, and you get on it a couple times, it begins to make sense. It puts a huge smile on your face, guys. And again, it just takes driving it to start to understand that and start to really value it. So let's fire it up real quick, give you an idea. So, not sure how well it picks up there on camera, but it is already warmed up, so you didn't get a cold start there. But just the drama that this 6.4 liter Hemi engine, V8 engine offers is second to none. I can honestly tell you with full confidence that this is the most enjoyable SUV or truck that I've ever driven. You know, any SUV or truck I've driven, I've had Ford Raptors before, and this easily takes the cake as the most enjoyable, most thrilling drive. Now my 4th like would be, I truly believe that the Wrangler 392 Final Edition here is the perfect balance when it comes to offering simplicity with modern technology. And what I mean by that is, of course, when you get in here, you are greeted by a lot of hard plastics, rubberized material. It is still very Toyota-esque feeling to me, right? It's just a lot of plastic in here, and that's okay because you are still complemented with all of the creature comforts when it comes to Apple CarPlay, of course, very responsive infotainment unit here, high-res center stack here, but it still does offer 2 analog gauges here for the tachometer and speedometer. It just still feels very tactile. When you look down here, you still have your knobs for your volume control, your tuner, fan speed. Everything is easy to navigate and very intuitive, and I really appreciate that about it. So overall, the simplicity is not lost, but I think holistically, it still offers all the technology that you would ever want from a modern vehicle without overdoing it, right? So I do appreciate the balance that it offers. And my fifth and final like, for me personally, is the color. This Fathom Blue color, this paint is incredible. It's super unique. You don't see this on hardly any vehicles out there today. It's just the specialness is really, really cool to me. So let me give you an idea. I'm kind of put a little light on it here. In the sunlight, you do get that more turquoise, indigo, pearl flake, and I love that metallic flake to it. Whereas obviously in the shadows, when you're looking at right here, it kind of just looks like a black Jeep, right? But when in the daylight, and I'll throw up some other B-roll here when it's in the sunlight, I absolutely love that color. To me, it feels very special. I know they didn't make a whole lot of them. It wasn't a standard color option. It is a $900 paint option, which is a little bit of a bummer, but I love the uniqueness of it nonetheless. So team, just to recap, the 5 likes. I love the fact that it's just a Wrangler at the end of the day, and it's pretty unassuming to 9 out of 10 people. Unless you really know what you're looking for and you have a bit of a trained eye, only then will you realize how special this Wrangler is. So that's my number 1. Number 2, made in America by Americans, made out of that Toledo plant in Ohio, and people take tremendous pride in putting this Wrangler together, and I love that. Number 3, the engine, the thrill factor of the 6.4 liter Hemi V8 engine is second to none. It's so much fun to drive. It really does put a huge smile on my face. Number 4, perfect balance of simplicity and modern tech. And number 5, the color is just perfect. I love this Fathom Blue. So as I wrap up the video here, I'll just kind of remind you guys of the overarching reason why I bought it. It's a final edition. They're going to have one more final edition in 2025, which is a little silly. But let's face it, this giant naturally aspirated V8 is going away. Right? It's kind of a stupid concept. A 6.4 liter Hemi V8 crammed in a little Jeep Wrangler. It's a stupid, pretty silly concept, but that is what makes it so much fun to drive. And this is going away. It's for sure going away, as final edition would entail, right? It's just one more year of it. But here in a few years, people will certainly long for the days of being able to buy something as ridiculous as the 392 Wrangler here. And I'm happy to have gotten it and been able to enjoy it here. So that right there is really the overarching reason, as everything has become so synthetic, so hybridized, so tiny displacement motors, turbocharged everything. This right here, this brute of a vehicle, this is a blast to drive. So, of course, I did not expect you guys to welcome a Jeep Wrangler with open arms here on my channel that has generally focused on Toyotas. I know they stand for 2 different things more often than not, I get it. But for me, guys, it's nothing new. I've always swapped out cars, and I do it all the time, and I like to try new things. I try not to get too pigeonholed into a brand, and well, this is me doing just that. So for those of you who were supportive of the purchase, I really do appreciate that. You know, your kind words do mean a lot, and I certainly appreciate it. So thanks for watching as always. Until next time.